Third example, we have the quantity of P and Q implies not P. First, we identify how many variables we have so that we will know what truth table are we going to use. So in this logical statement, we have the variable P and we also have another variable na Q. So wala naman na aside from that. So dahil we have two variables, we have to use the truth table with two variables. So next is to identify what are we going to evaluate given this logical statement. So going back to the logical statement, we have the quantity of P and Q and also we have to get not P. So yung not P is not in the table as well as P and Q. So alin dyan yung mauuna? Ngayon, in this given logical statement, you can evaluate P and Q first or pwede din namang not P yung mauna. Bakit pwedeng either yung mauna na pwedeng yung P and Q or yung not P? It is because that the variables inside the parentheses is already in the given truth table. Diba? We just have P and Q. Wala namang not P, wala ding not Q inside the parentheses. So if that's the case, you can immediately get this value or you can evaluate this one or yung the values inside the parentheses. Tapos followed by not P. O kaya naman kung mas comfortable kayong nauuna yung not P, ay okay lang din naman. Wala pong problema. So for this case, it's either mauuna yung not P or mahuhuli siya. So, ganun pa din naman at the end, makukuha pa din natin yung evaluation for the whole logical statement. So, let's say we'll evaluate not P first or the negation of P. So, let's just recall how are we going to get the negation of a certain truth value. So, getting the negation of a certain truth value, all you have to do is get the opposite of that given truth value. Na for example, pagka true, magiging false, tas pagka false, magiging true. In evaluating the negation of P, all you have to do is focus on the column with the P variable. So, dun lang tayo titingin sa may P na variable. First row, we have the truth value as true, so the negation of P will become false. Next row, we have the p-value or the truth value as true, so the negation of p is still false. The negation of false is true. Lastly, the negation of false is true. Now that we're done with the negation of p, we can now proceed with the evaluation of the term inside the parentheses, which is p and q. If you will question me, ma'am, di ba po sabi nyo, the terms inside the parentheses should be evaluated first? Yes po, that's correct naman. So, if you want to evaluate P and Q first, it will also be fine before you proceed with the terms outside the parentheses. Yun nga lang, ngayon, ma'am, bakit inuna mo yung not P instead of the term inside the parentheses? For this case kasi, okay lang. Bakit siya naging okay lang? Kasi po, the terms inside the parentheses is already given in the truth table. So, kahit hindi yun yung unahin ko, walang magiging case. Or kaya naman ay unahin ko man siya or hindi, okay lang. Kumbaga, parang walang maaapektuhan. Walang values na kailangan nyo prior to the computation of the terms inside the parentheses. So, kung gusto nyo unahin yung P and Q, okay lang siya. Kung hindi nyo naman siya gustong unahin, okay lang din siya. Kasi given na siya eh. So, parang given na yung P at saka yung Q mo. Unlike dun sa mga previous example natin, di ba? If I'm not mistaken, the term or the variable inside the parentheses is not P. So, ngayon, yung not P, kailangan mo siyang unahin bago tayo makapag-proceed with the term inside the parentheses. So, ganun lang. You will just analyze things. Hindi naman sa logic, para lang din siyang math. Wala siyang definite na pattern ng solution. So, pwede lang kayong maging guide, parang kumbaga pwede kayong gumawa ng guidelines, pero not necessarily na yun yung magiging guidelines for all logical statements. So, pag nagbago yung logical statement nyo, there are times na nababago yung solution ninyo. So, basta, ang ending niyan, ang importante, yung dulong part, which is yung makukuha nyo yung value ng buong logical statement or yung truth values ng buong logical na statement. So, ang ruling naman sa conjunction is, ang pinaka-gist naman nito is, pagka may isang false, is matic, false na yung sagot. So, in evaluating P and Q, we will focus on the column of the variable P and the other variable na Q. So, dun lang kayo titingin sa column ng P at saka sa column ng Q. For the first row, we have true, and the answer is true. Second row, we have true and false, and the answer is false. Third row, we have false and true, and the answer is false. Last row, we have false, and the answer is false. Next is to identify what are we going to evaluate for the next column. So since we already have the P and Q, and we also have the evaluation for not P, going back to the logical statement, we already have the things that we will need for us to evaluate the whole logical statement. So the next column will be the whole logical statement na P and Q, or the quantity of P and Q implies not P. So for conditional statements, if your truth values are T implies T, false implies true, or F implies F, the answer will be true. It will only be false if the truth values will be T implies F. In evaluating this logical statement, we have to focus on the column of P and Q, and as well as the column for not P. In this given logical statement, you have to take note that the quantity of P and Q is our first variable, and the second variable is the negation of P, or yung not P. So you will not read it as F implies T for the first row. You have to you have to get the reciprocal of it, magiging T implies F. Ngayon, bakit magiging T implies F dun sa first row? Kasi nga po, nauuna yung P and Q dun sa logical statement ninyo. So, pagka naka-encounter kayo ng ganitong klaseng truth table, or nakagawa kayo ng ganitong klaseng truth table, hindi yan laging kung sino yung nauunang column, yun yung uunahin ninyo dun sa statement ninyo, or dun sa pag-a-analyze nyo, or pag-evaluate ninyo. So, you really have to check yung logical statement na given kung alin ba dun yung first variable. So, in this case, it just so happens na pangalawa nating in-evaluate yung P and Q, kaya iisipin nyo na lang, hindi naman necessary yung kailangang pagbaliktarin nyo siya. Pwedeng you retain it as it is, the way it is, pero you have to take note, pag nag-evaluate kayo or nag-analyze kayo, dapat uunahin yung isabihin yung nasa column ng P and Q before you state the truth values in not P. Kasi nga, yung not P yung second at yung P and Q yung first. So, pag kung baga mag-evaluate kayo sa utak nyo, babaliktarin nyo silang dalawa. Or, ang gusto nyo, kung nalilito kayo pagka ganun, ang gawin nyo lang, pagbaliktarin nyo sila, literally, na yung column ng P and Q, ilipat nyo dun sa unahan ng not P, para hindi kayo malito. Pero kung hindi naman kayo, kung okay lang naman kayo sa ganitong setup, edi okay lang din naman. Basta lagi nyo lang tatandaan na yung arrangement ng variables ay important. For the first row, we have T implies F, and the answer is false. We have false implies false, and the answer is true. Next, we have false implies true, so the answer is true. Last one, we have false implies true, that is the same with the previous row, the answer is true.